Hi, I just wanted to um, talk today about 9/11, the World Trade Twin Towers. I think this is important that people understand it wasn't just the World Trade Twin Towers, that there was another building that fell that day, a rather tall building, actually. It was a 49-story World Trade Center 7 building. And it just so happened that in that World Trade Center 7 building, we have FBI, we have CIA, we have all kinds of intelligence communications networks in that building. We also have all the files that contained all of the remember Enron scandal? Well, we have all the files that were contained in that scandal as well. That building collapsed on 9/11 at 5:30 at night. That's 9/11/2001, people. And there's a lot to say about this, but I want to stick to this. I have this here. If you've ever seen this before, okay, these are the handouts you will get if you ever show up at a 9/11 rally. Every 9/11, if you if you choose to do so, go to meetup.com. You'll find a 9/11 network near you, or go to 911truth.com or any of the such sites of 9/11, and you will be able to join a 9/11 group as well and do what I do. Occasionally, I like to get out and to protest. But when you protest, what are you doing? You're educating the public on 9/11. So that's what this here thing is about, education. So let's go through it. It has 14 points. Let's get through them. First point, nearly free fall acceleration through path of greatest resistance. Now, this is trying to prove the explosive nature of 9/11. They're saying that 9/11 buildings were stacked with, what's the word I'm looking for? The buildings were brought down by demolition. Okay? If you don't know what that means, look it up. All right? Demolition means they had placed all throughout the building explosives. Explosives. Have you not heard this before? Well, 9/11, they had placed explosives all throughout the Twin Towers and World Trade Center 7 as well. Okay? So, how do we know that this happened? Well, physicists, okay, if you go to architects and engineers for 9/11, you'll find physicists, I can't even say the word, physicists, people with more intelligence than me, they have proven that the buildings fell at free fall acceleration. That is free fall acceleration through path of greatest resistance. If you know the building of 9/11, if you see the center structure of those buildings, you will see that that couldn't have happened by accident. Number two, second point, number two, improbable symmetry of debris distribution. What does that mean? That means that the debris, when they found it lodged into the buildings surrounding the Twin Towers and World Trade Center 7, that the debris line was not in a line of gravitational pull. No, it was in a line of explosive force. So therefore, that there was large steel protruding out of the sides of these buildings. Well, how could that happen unless an explosive was set in the building to blow it towards the building? It couldn't. It couldn't, people. Point number three, extremely rapid onset of destruction. Extremely rapid onset of destructions means this. If you've ever seen a building fall from anything other than demolition, what happens? The building falls non-symmetrical. Okay, it doesn't fall straight down. It falls to the side. It falls one way or the other. It does not fall into its own footprint, if you will, at the bottom of the building. That would be impossible. That could not happen unless the building was brought down by explosives. Let's go on to point number four. There's four. This is 4 out of 14. Let's get through them. Over 100 first responders reported explosions and flashes. Over 100 of them. Now that's a couple. That's more than a couple because many of them died. And if we had all the ones that, if they would have lived that were in the building, they would have said the same thing because all their friends were saying there was explosives and flashes throughout the building. If you go into a 9/11 website, they're going to show you footage from that day, from the day of 9/11 that you have not seen since, unless you're into this thing, which you should be because this is important. Okay, so explosions and flashes reported by first responders. Let's go to point number 5, fifth point. Multi-ton steel sections ejected laterally 600 feet at 50 miles per hour. Let's say that again. multi-ton steel sections ejected laterally at 600 feet at 50 miles per hour. Let's think about that. You have multi-ton steel sections ejected 600 feet. Multi-ton, that could be 4,000 or more pounds. So we have 4,000 or more pounds of material being thrusted sideways, okay, 600 feet at 50 miles per hour. Now, how could that happen if the building's falling down like a pancake, like they said? It fell down in that pancake rapid succession, which has been proven false. But besides that, how could their theory of pancake collapse hold up if we have ejections laterally 4,000 tons and more, 50 miles per hour? It's a lot to think about, but think about it. Point number six, we got six midair pulverization of 90,000 tons of concrete and metal decking. Okay, mid-air pulverization. That's what all that dust was on 9/11. Remember the dust clouds, the biggest dust clouds ever? Never seen anything like that when they were attacking the buildings. Hey, here's something for you. If you've ever seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Total Recall, okay, there's explosions taking place in that building, okay, and you'll see these clouds of earth and debris coming towards the buildings, very much like you saw on 9/11. Coincidence, I suppose, but let's move on. This clouds, basically mid-air pulverization. That means everything was pulverized in the air. In the air. That means before it hit the ground. Explosions, people. Okay, seven, massive volume of expanding proclastic-like clouds. That's the debris cloud that we were talking about. Number 8. We're getting to 1,200-foot dia debris field. No pancake floors found. Okay, so you have a 1,200-foot dia debris field. No pancake floors found. I can't act like I can expand on that one. Number 9 is isolated explosive ejections. Okay, 20 to 40 stories below demolition front. Okay, so isolated explosive ejections. Once again, things are being ejected, not your pancake. Doesn't hold up. 10. Like if I was Illuminati, 10. Okay. Number 10, total building destruction, dismemberment of steel frame. Now look at anything that talks about the building of those buildings and the steel frame. It was immaculate. The guy who designed the building, the architect, he's on some of these 9/11 conspiracy theorist websites. Woo! And what's he say? He says that we built that building to withstand multiple 747s flying into it. Multiple, he said. Multiple. That's more than one, people. Multiple. If you don't know what multiple means, it's at least this many. Okay. So we have at least this many. How many planes ran into each building? One in the first, one in the second, right? One in the second, one in the first. Well, nothing ran into the third one. So what happened there? We didn't even have a plane fly into it, yet it fell down like it was demolished. Building 7, look it up. Building number 7. 7. Okay, let's move on. We're running out of time, so let's move on. Number 11. Yeah, number 11, I think. Number 11. Okay, we have several tons of molten iron found under all 3 high-rise buildings. This is proved positive by the firemen that were on the scene many days later. They said up to 3 months, people. 3 months. That's 1, 2, 3 months after the buildings came down. There was molten iron at the base of the buildings. Pools of it. They said you could swim in it if you were a fish that could withstand molten metal temperatures. But molten metal was found there. That could only happen how? Something melted the steel when those buildings came down. Something so strong, such a powerful force of nature, okay, must have been inside of those buildings to make the metal melt. That's what was streaming off the side of the one building in the video. Number 12, evidence of thermite incendiaries found in steel and dust samples. What's that mean? Well, they took samples of the dust. They took it to BYU, okay? And we had a professor there who understands these things, and he says there was thermite, I think it's that was found in the dust. Explosive elements only place we know these you can get these things is in the military, okay? Military, the U.S. military, so U.S. military, molten metal, a lot of things to think about. Okay, so let's move on. Number 13, FEMA steel analysis, sulfidation, oxidation, and intergranular melting. So FEMA steel analysis, sulfidation, oxidation, and intergranular melting. I don't know what that means either, but let's move on. 14, no precedent for steel framing high-rise collapse due to fire. So what that's saying there is it's never happened before. Buildings never collapse just from fire, which is what Building 7 did. It collapsed. There wasn't even a plane that hit it. It collapsed by fire alone. This has never happened before. 9/11, a lot of things that never happened before happened. So what are we to make of that? It must be Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda did it. Who the hell is Al-Qaeda? Osama bin Laden. Bin Laden. Terrorist. Terrorized. Bush. Terrorist. Bin Laden. So what's this mean? This means that we're being lied to. The 9/11 Commission didn't do anything to help us. They did a lot to help the government. Look into it. We're being lied to. Why are we being lied to? This is important. This is important. Your government's lying to you. Why are they lying to you? Why? It's our government. Why are they lying to you? Our government. We, the people. All right, I'll see you next time when I have time.